Hello sports site developers. In this video we're going to take a look at how to customize the colors on the Team Rosters version 4.0 plugin. And we'll stick with colors. In other videos we'll talk more about the photos and the icons and those sorts of things. So this is the default out of the box. You get this blue coloring. I have two teams in here, Cal and the Giants, and they both have the same colors. So that works, but it's probably not exactly what you'd want to brand your teams. So you have several options on how to change these colors to reflect your team, and I'll go through those in order. So the first thing that you can do is go to the settings page, and I'm going to go back to Team Rosters settings, and the settings page has been redesigned for those of you who use previous versions. It's now organized with tabs, and in this case we're going to be interested in the roster tables and in particular their colors. So on this page you get a choice of a bevy of colors that you may want to use to style up the page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and stop this recording for a bit and set these colors, and then come back and show you how the result works. Okay, so that took a couple of minutes. I'm back and I've set all the colors to be red and white, and I made the links to be green just so we could see something happen. And I saved the changes, and if I go to the page and see how the result looks now, you can see that the tables are all red and white now. And that's fine if you have a site with one school or one team and you set up the team colors and you're good to go. But if you happen to have a site like this with California and San Francisco, you probably don't want them all to look the same. You'd like to see the team colors if it was a league site or something like that. So what you can do in that case, there's a couple of options, but we'll take a look at the first one. What you do is go to my plugin directory, and inside the plugin directory there's a CSS directory, and there's this file MSTW styles, and I can go ahead and edit it if I wanted to make the changes there. And here's what it looks like. I happen to have the roster table section open, and there's a collection of selectors and CSS rules, and you could change those right there and change the defaults. You could also add customizations, more rules there, but I don't recommend that anymore with version 4.0. What you can do instead now is go back to your website, and inside the website go to your themes folder and bring up the theme you're using. I'm using 2012, and inside that theme, the main theme or the main child theme directory, you can create a new style sheet, MSTW custom styles, and you can put your custom styles there. If you're using a child theme, then your custom styles will not be erased when you upgrade your theme, and they will also not be erased when you upgrade the plugin. So that's what I've done. I've gone in there and I've gone to created a MSTW custom styles, and I've made some roster table changes that are specific for the Cal Bears by using the team slug at the end of my selectors. So there's some things for the Cal Bears, and there's some more things, basically copies, San Francisco Giants, using different colors. And having done that, we should be able to go back to this page and reload it. And now we get that custom style sheet has created a little better branded theme for Cal, and at the same time there's a little better looking branded table for the Giants. So that's your second option, and you have to know some CSS to do that, obviously. If you don't know any CSS, but you'd still like to have your team's brand reflected, there's also a way to do that. If we go back to the settings page, there's this new box that says use team colors. And this is going to use the team's table from the MSTW Schedules and Scoreboards plugin. So it's not going to matter what you do. It's going to be ignored if you haven't installed that plugin or if you haven't set any team colors in that plugin. But if you have, then that will take precedence over everything else you set. You can see I don't have to change these colors. I don't have to do anything with the custom style sheets. I can just reload the page now that I've selected that. And it's going to go, and you can see now I get a different looking brand that is branded from the MSTW Schedules and Scoreboards Teams database. So let's look at what's going on there. If I go back to my dashboard and I go to my teams in my team rosters and look at, say, Cal, I'll see that the team in the team rosters is linked to a team in the Schedules and Scoreboards database. And so if I go to Schedules and Scoreboards and look at the teams database, I can, let's just find Cal here if we sort this. I can go into my California Golden Bears, which is what I've linked to. And with the latest version of Schedules and Scoreboards, there is a new section that allows me to select colors for the teams. And I've set these colors for the teams, primary, secondary, and background. And I've done the same thing for the Giants. So what this is now doing is it's going back and it's using, it's looking in that database because I've linked my team and team rosters to that database, and it's going in and it's pulling those colors and it's using those colors. So I can brand my rosters for different teams if I use the Schedules and Scoreboards teams database without having to write any or change any of the CSS or do any coding. So if we just we'll go back and unwrap what I've done. If I go back into my settings database and I say I don't want to use the colors from the Schedules and Scoreboards database, then the plugin's going to go back and look for a custom style sheet. And it will find the custom style sheet now. And you'll see the branding and colors change slightly. And now if I want to undo that, I'll just go back into my theme directory and I'll go find the MSTWTR custom styles.css. It has to be named exactly that way or the plugin will not recognize it. So I will just rename it, put a 1 in front. Now the plugin's not going to be able to find that. So it's going to go back and it's going to find the colors in the settings database and goes back to that red and white look. And if I want to get rid of that, I can go back to my settings, and in my colors, where it's using my red and white now, I can just reset the defaults. Ask me if I'm sure. I say sure, I'm sure. I reset the defaults, and when it finds blanks for any of these colors, it says, okay, well, I'm going to use the default style sheet from the plugin, and it'll go back to its original blue tones. So that's it. There's several ways you can play with the colors, and in the next video in this series, I'll look at how you can set up the photos as well as the logos that appear. See you soon.